You stack $50,000 in tactical gear. You buy a lifted truck with bumpers, racks, and winches. You park it in your driveway, and guess what? You're announcing to everyone within a 5-mile radius that you're prepared. You're saying, I have supplies, I have resources, I'm ready. When collapse comes, that truck becomes a target. But there's another way. A way the smartest preppers already know. The concept of being a gray man, blending seamlessly into the crowd and appearing as nondescript as possible, is the ultimate survival skill. People cannot target what they cannot identify, so laying low in public view can help you avoid confrontation, and the vehicle you choose determines everything. Before we break down the 7 vehicles that will keep you invisible while everyone else burns through their resources, hit subscribe. We're dropping real survival tactics every single week, no fluff. This channel is for the people actually preparing, not the ones talking about it on the internet. Here's the truth most preppers completely miss. In states of panic, people become desperate, and desperation can lead people to do whatever it takes to stay alive. At that point, you certainly don't want to be singled out as the one person prepared for survival. The moment looters see your tactical vehicle loaded with supplies, you become prey. You become a target. You become the reason someone else survives. But what if your vehicle looked exactly like every other soccer mom, contractor, or retiree on the road? What if it blended so perfectly that nobody even noticed you leaving? What if nobody thought twice about what you were carrying? That's the gray man vehicle advantage. And it's not theory. It's backed by actual preppers who've thought this through to the end game. We found 7 vehicles that do exactly that. They move supplies, they handle terrain, they get you out. But they look so normal that looters pass right by them. They're not the obvious choice, which is exactly why they're the right choice. Number 1. The Honda Civic or Toyota Corolla. The invisible perfection. Here's the controversial truth. For something like the Depression, loss of a job, injury that prevents work, or some other SHTF where society and basic infrastructure are intact, the Civic would be the perfect vehicle. But it goes deeper than that. There are more Honda Civics and Toyota Corollas on American roads than any other vehicle. Think about that. They're so ubiquitous that your brain literally erases them from its attention. When your brain sees a Corolla, it doesn't register. It's like background noise. Your reticular activating system is the part of your brain that responds to anything that stands out. A gray man vehicle is specifically designed to not trigger this system. A beige Corolla with 180,000 miles on the odometer. Your mind doesn't even register it exists. Don't mistake invisible for weak. Honda and Toyota engines are incredibly reliable. You can drive one of these vehicles upwards of 250,000 miles or more. We're talking vehicles that consistently hit 35 to 40 miles per gallon on the highway. That means on a half tank, you can cover 200 miles without stopping. In a grid-down scenario where fuel is scarce and gas stations are empty, that's survival range. That's the difference between making it out and getting stranded. Storage-wise, backseat down on a Civic gives you roughly 46 cubic feet. Not a truck bed, but enough for water, food, tools, and one other person. You can stack 5-gallon water jugs. You can fit emergency supplies. You can layer a tarp, some canned goods, maybe a first aid kit that actually matters. Parts compatibility is the unspoken advantage. Literally every mechanic in America has worked on a Civic. Springs, belts, starters, alternators. If something breaks during your bug out, you're not hunting for specialty parts. You're fixing it with what's available everywhere. You're fixing it on the side of the road with common tools. And here's the looting psychology that most preppers ignore. When marauders are scanning vehicles, they're looking for trucks with trailers, SUVs with roof racks, anything that signals supplies here. A 2012 Corolla with a dent in the rear bumper and a check engine light. That looks like an empty vehicle. That looks broke. That looks like it doesn't have anything worth taking. The price check. $6,000 to $10,000 for a reliable model with under 150,000 miles. That's less than half what you'd spend on a survival truck. And you've got reliable transportation that nobody's hunting. Number 2, Ford Transit Connect, the contractor's advantage. You know what nobody suspects? A beat-up white van with a contractor's magnet on the side, a ladder rack, some weathered toolboxes. You could be anyone. You could be everywhere. You could be the electrician. You could be the plumber. You could be the HVAC guy. A nondescript truck like a work truck with a contractor cap is about as under the radar as you can get. It's not uncommon to see work trucks with bumpers, winches, lights, and racks. But here's the genius. That's normal. A Transit Connect-sized van with a contractor setup doesn't trigger the prepper alert. It triggers the electrician signal. The Ford Transit Connect gives you 130+ cubic feet of cargo space. That's massive. Fold down the seats, remove them entirely, and you're carrying 2,500 pounds of supplies. That's water, food, fuel cans, tools, medical kits, backup shelter, all in a vehicle that looks like it should be carrying drywall and power drills. 22 to 28 miles per gallon depending on the year. For a vehicle this size, that's exceptional. You're getting efficiency close to a Civic in a box that can haul serious weight. This is critical. You could outfit the inside with a mattress, fridge, solar panels, making bugging out and staying incognito very manageable. But here's the genius. You don't have to broadcast it. The van stays looking like work transport. Nobody second guesses it. Nobody asks what's inside. You can add interior storage, false panels for compartments, roof racks for fuel or water cans, all in ways that look like normal contractor equipment. The difference? Everything is hidden in plain sight as work gear. $10,000 to $16,000 for a used Transit Connect with reasonable mileage. More than a Corolla, but you're getting hauling capacity that doubles or triples what you'd get with a small truck. Number 3. Subaru Outback. The sleeper SUV. This is the vehicle that separates serious preppers from the cosplay crowd. Someone who owns an Outback has AWD, 24 miles per gallon, lots of space and storage options, and can tow a small trailer. Put a 2-inch lift on it, and it can go almost anywhere those others can go. The Subaru Outback looks like exactly what it is. A vehicle for hiking trips, farmers market runs, and weekend getaways. It's wagon coded. It's active lifestyle coded. It's absolutely not tactical coded. You see a Subaru Outback in a parking lot, and you think yoga mat and craft coffee, not supplies and survival. The Subaru Outback gets 26 to 32 miles per gallon depending on the model. Most standard trims achieve 26 city, 32 highway, 28 combined. That's combined range of 470+ miles on a single tank. Older Outbacks? You're looking at 22 to 26 miles per gallon, which is still solid for the category. 96% of Subaru Outback vehicles sold in the last 10 years are still on the road today. More than the Toyota RAV4, more than the Honda CR-V, more than the Hyundai Santa Fe. That's reliability proven in the market, not just in marketing. With the rear seats down, you're looking at 75 cubic feet of space. That's more than the Transit Connect in some cases because the space is distributed differently. Long items like lumber, tarps, or water collection systems fit easily. The roof rack adds another 15 to 20 cubic feet of external capacity. Unlike a Civic, the Outback handles winter conditions, light off-road scenarios, and emergency terrain without breaking a sweat. In a collapse where roads are damaged or infrastructure is compromised, that all-wheel drive isn't a luxury. It's the difference between getting through and getting stuck. $8,000 to $14,000 for a model in the 2010-2015 range with under 100,000 miles. You're paying a premium over a Civic, but for what you're getting, reliability, capacity, and capability, it's worth every penny. Number 4. Chevrolet Silverado. The classic workhorse, not the new ones. The new trucks scream prepper if you're not careful. We're talking about the 1980s through early 2000s Silverados, the ones that look weathered, the ones with dents, the ones with actual patina. Here's what makes this so brilliant. A beat-up Silverado in your driveway doesn't look like you're prepared. It looks like you're broke. It looks like that's the truck you've had for 20 years. It looks normal because it is normal. You see these trucks everywhere, parked in driveways, used for actual work, driven by actual contractors. An older Silverado with a good engine can last 300,000 miles. Some of them are hitting those numbers right now. Parts are available everywhere. Mechanics can fix them with their eyes closed. You can get a 1995 Silverado with a solid 5.7-liter motor for $4,000 to $8,000. The payload capacity is real. You're looking at 1,500 to 3,500 pounds of cargo depending on the year and configuration. That's serious hauling. That's supplies. That's a small trailer if you need it. Here's the gray man advantage specific to trucks. A weathered pickup doesn't look tactical, it looks utilitarian. It looks like it belongs everywhere. You can move supplies in the bed, cover them with a tarp, and nobody thinks twice. A contractor moving materials looks the same as a prepper moving survival gear. But this only works if you resist the urge to add tactical accessories. No bumpers, no winches, no LED light bars. The moment you start accessorizing, you break the gray man illusion. You go from invisible to obvious, $4,000 to $8,000 for something reliable and capable. You're getting serious truck functionality that a Civic will never have, but you're staying invisible because you're not trying to look prepared. Number 5. Toyota Sienna Minivan. The ultimate surprise. Nobody sees the minivan coming. That's literally the point. A Toyota Sienna with soccer mom bumper stickers and a kid's car seat in the back? That's the last vehicle anyone's going to loot. That's the last vehicle anyone's going to suspect carries supplies. This is where psychology becomes practical survival. Your brain doesn't process a minivan as a threat. Your brain doesn't process it as a resource. A minivan is invisible in a completely different way than a Corolla. It's not just nondescript. It's actively dismissed. The Sienna has 150 cubic feet of cargo space with the seats removed. That's 5 times the storage of a Civic. You can fit water, food, medical supplies, backup power, tools, and shelter materials all in one vehicle. And when you close the sliding door, nobody can see any of it. Toyota Siennas are reliable. They're built to handle family road trips, which in a collapse scenario is exactly the kind of durability you need. Long distances, varied terrain, continuous use. These vehicles are designed for it. 20 to 27 miles per gallon depending on the model. It's not a truck, but it's efficient enough to get you 300 plus miles on a single tank. That's survival range. The emotional camouflage is the real advantage here. When people see a minivan during a collapse, their instinct is not to target it. Their instinct is to look away. A family vehicle doesn't register as a prepper asset. It registers as someone trying to survive, just like everyone else. $5,000 to $12,000 for a reliable used Sienna. You're investing in invisibility. You're investing in a vehicle that will move serious supplies while broadcasting that you're a parent trying to take care of your family. That's the gray man minivan advantage. Number 6. Nissan Rogue or Honda CR-V, the soccer mom universal. These are the most common vehicles on American roads after Civics and Corollas. They're everywhere. They're so everywhere that they vanish into the background. A Nissan Rogue is the definition of unremarkable. It's a crossover SUV. It looks exactly like every other crossover SUV. You could park it next to 5 others and not recognize your own. That's the point. 60 cubic feet of cargo space with the seats down. It's not as much as a minivan or a Transit Connect, but it's way more than a Corolla. You can fit emergency supplies, water, food, tools, and 1 other person comfortably. 26 to 32 miles per gallon depending on the year and model. 4-wheel drive options are available, giving you terrain capability when you need it. The CR-V is similarly universal. Honda's taken the formula that works, reliable, spacious, efficient, unremarkable, and replicated it perfectly. There's a CR-V in every parking lot in America. The gray man advantage is that you're not choosing something weird or different. You're choosing something so common that it's invisible. You're fitting in by refusing to stand out. $5,000 to $10,000 for something reliable with under 100,000 miles. You're buying invisibility. You're buying a vehicle that can handle emergency situations while looking like it's just shuttling people to soccer practice. Number 7. Dodge Caravan. Invisibility total. This is the wild card. The Dodge Caravan is the vehicle everyone has already forgotten about. It's not cool. It's not desirable. It's not even on most people's radar anymore. That's exactly why it works. A Caravan from the late 1990s through mid-2000s has 140 cubic feet of cargo space with the seats removed. That's more than the Transit Connect. That's serious hauling. You can fit enough supplies for a family of 4 for a month. Dodge Caravans are built on a proven platform. They're not fancy, but they're reliable. They're easy to work on. Parts are cheap because they're everywhere. 19 to 25 miles per gallon depending on the model. It's not the most efficient, but it's adequate for survival range. Here's the psychological advantage that makes the Caravan brilliant. When people see a minivan, they think family, but a Dodge Caravan? Most people just see a van. It's so nondescript, so completely unremarkable, that it becomes the ultimate gray man vehicle. You could outfit the interior completely. Shelving, water storage, food organization, power supplies. Close the sliding doors and nobody knows what's inside. You look like someone running errands. You look like a contractor if you add a ladder rack. You look like absolutely anything except prepared. $3,000 to $7,000 for something reliable with reasonable mileage. You're investing in total invisibility. You're buying a vehicle that can move serious supplies while broadcasting nothing. Now here's what separates the smart preppers from everyone else. They're not choosing these vehicles because they're the cheapest or the fastest. They're choosing them because they're the smartest. They're choosing them because they understand that in a collapse, the vehicle that moves supplies without attracting attention wins the game. You could buy a lifted truck with tactical accessories and feel prepared. But when marauders are scanning the neighborhood for resources, guess which vehicle they're targeting first? The obvious one. The one screaming, "I have supplies." The gray man vehicles. They pass right by them. They move supplies undetected. They get their owners to safety while everyone else is fighting over resources in plain sight. Your neighbors are going to make emotional decisions. They're going to choose vehicles that look prepared. They're going to broadcast their readiness. And then they're going to wonder why they became targets. You're going to make the smart decision. You're going to choose invisibility. You're going to choose a vehicle that fits in. And when collapse happens, you're going to move through it like Ghost. The question isn't which of these 7 is the best. The question is which one fits your life right now so well that you're not making any big changes. Because the moment you start modifying your life to look prepared, you stop being a gray man. You become obvious. The best gray man vehicle is the one you can adopt right now without anybody noticing. The one that blends with your current situation. The one that moves supplies while broadcasting absolutely nothing. If you're in the city, grab a Civic or a CR-V. If you're in a suburban area, a Subaru Outback or a Minivan makes sense. If you need serious hauling, grab an older truck or a Transit Connect. If you need the ultimate invisibility, grab a Caravan. The point is this: don't prepare by looking prepared. Don't survive by broadcasting survival. Choose the vehicle that lets you move through the world unnoticed. Choose the vehicle that keeps you invisible. And when everything else fails, that invisibility is going to save your life. So which one of these vehicles would you grab first? Drop your answer in the comments below. And before you go, hit subscribe. We're breaking down real survival tactics that actually work, not fantasy gear that looks good on a shelf. New content every week. Real preppers, real solutions, real survival. Stay smart, stay invisible. And remember, the best prepared person is the one nobody knows is prepared.